Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how I took this broken awning on the side of my vehicle and turned it into this. I'll go through step by step how I compare the two different arms and how I reattach them to the side of my Grand Design Solitude 310 GK. Okay, right now I've got my my arms here. The ones on the inside, the two black ones on the inside, are the new compass arms, and the ones on the outside are the forget the birds. Are the old Longitude arms that came with my Solitude 310 GK. So I have actually, you can see I've got duct tape on those yellow marks. It's basically where they broke off. I'll go into later what happened that I have to replace these, but I called Carefree of Colorado, and they don't make the Longitude anymore, so they've got this compass arm instead. You can see that the width and the shape is a little bit different between the compass arm and the Longitude arm. They're a little bit wider, and let's see if I can get over here and show you. They're a little bit wider, and they're a little bit taller. So generally, I think they've been engineered just to be stronger. Just the shape of them, the width, the size, and the thickness of the material is a little bit better with the compass than it was with the Longitude. So basically, I've got them set up like, I've got them lined up at the bottom edge where they'd be mounted. So I'll just push this level across here. So they're all lined up like they would at the bottom of the mounting holes. And you can see that all these mounting holes all line up here now. So they would all be putting the canvas roller all at the same level. So the bottoms of them are a little bit different. I'm sorry, the tops are a little bit different. So you can see the old ones are a little longer. So you've actually, the top of the arms are actually going to be about 2 inches below the top of the mounting arm on the old Longitude. So as long as the bottoms are lined up, it should be good. The bad thing is the only two mounting holes there's actually 3 mounting holes that match from the old Longitude arm to the new compass arm. So you can see the ones that I've got circled here. So those ones mount the same, and those two mount the same. And there's one more hole up here. You can't see them here because I have got the arms all closed up. But there's another mounting hole that will line up there too. So as you can see, the arms are a little bit different, but the way that they attach to the awning roller arm is exactly the same, and the length of them is exactly the same, except for the height of the top of the arm, which is a little bit different. But if you're changing from a Longitude to a compass, it's pretty easy. 3 of the holes will match up, and I'm going to make 4 more holes to screw it into the sidewall of my Solitude. So that's pretty much a look at the arms. I'm going to open them up and show you another couple of comparisons of them opened up. Okay, now I have the arms opened up, and you can see the new compass arm is at the top there, and this is the old Longitude arm. You can see where this part is broken out of the rail, but what I want to show you is the mounting location. So you can see there's the old holes, right? So you see the ones that are circled. Those are the 3 holes I'm going to use. This hole right here, this hole right here, there's another hole in here, and then there's one down at the bottom, the one that's circled right here. So get down there and show that, and this one right here. Those are the mounting holes that we're going to reuse, and I'm just using a slightly larger screw to mount those. And then I'm going to mount into the extra holes here. So I'm also going to mount into this hole here, which will be a new screw. I'm going to mount into this hole here, which will be a new screw. This hole here, that'll be a new screw. I'm not sure if I'm going to put another screw at the bottom, but I might. So those are the mounting holes. Now, as far as the adjustments for the pitch of the roof, one arm generally has a a lower pitch so that the rain will run off. So I just matched the holes that were on the old arms, you know, so that's the new arm. I just matched the hole that it was in the old arm, so it was the third from the top. I just matched this on this one to the new arm. And you can see a lot of this stuff is just, you know, you can see the quality is better. This has been painted, it's still aluminum, but it's been painted. And the old arm, it isn't. So you can just tell these new arms, these compass arms, are just higher quality units. But the dimensions and the way that they work is exactly the same. So from here, I'm going to go and line them up on the side of the RV and show you the prep and stuff that we need to do to get these remounted on the RV. You can see on the side of the RV where the old mounting holes are, and I'm going to go up there and show you the mounting holes. But there's the mounting holes on the forward arm, which I've cleaned up the holes. And here's the mounting holes for the backward or the rear mounting arm. Okay, so these are the holes where the screws got ripped out. And I'm just going to be using this, this bottom hole here. I'm going to be using this hole here. And then I'm going to be using this hole here and then this hole here. And then I've got to seal up this hole where the wires come out. So we have a main power wire. This is for the LED lights. And then this one is for the actual power, the awning in and out right there. In this hole in here, you can see we have this fiberglass sidewall, and then you've got the wood. And on the inside of that, there is this metal, I guess it's like a metal sheeting on the inside of the RV, which is what the screws are going to grab into. And the holes that I'm reusing, I'm actually going to, like in this hole here and this hole here, I'm going to reuse them with, instead of number 14, I think I'm using 5/16 lag screws, which are a little bit bigger. Number 14s are approximately 1/4 inch. So I'm going to be using 5/16 stainless steel lag bolts in the holes that I'm reusing. Then in the holes, the new holes, I'm just going to use the same type of lag bolts that they had originally used, screwed into through the fiberglass, into this wood right here, and then into the metal, or I guess it's aluminum sheeting behind it. So that's what Grand Design did from the beginning. So I'm just going to put it back the way they had it. The holes that I'm recovering, I'm going to seal them up with Dicor, and then I'm going to put a Turnabond over them that gives a nice barrier from the sidewall of the RV to the actual arm. So it basically gives a protective layer. What came on it was like these little foam strips that they had between the arm and the RV, but I'm actually going to use a Turnabond, one to seal and two to protect the surface of the skin of the RV. So next thing we're going to do is start to actually seal it up and mount the holes. You can see with the original line here where they had drawn where the arm was going to go, and done that. So the other thing I want to show you while I'm up here, you can see this is the gutter where the actual awning goes in, and it just slides. You see they flared that out a little bit, and so I'm gonna slide the awning in there after I get the arms on. There was a screw right here which keeps that from you know, moving within the guide. So I've taken that screw out to make sure that we could slip the old awning out. And at the very end, I'm going to do the wiring. The wiring will be probably the easiest part because it's already been run through the RV. Okay, you can see I've got my zip tie here around it just to keep it from popping open while I'm lining it up on the wall. And then I'm going to put those two screws in to start with, just to kind of hold it up there, and then we will go from there. Okay, I'm just going to go over a couple of the items that I'm going to use in attaching the new compass arms to the RV. First of all, these are the screws that came with the RV originally. These are number 14, but they're kind of a coarser thread. This is the original screw right here, and then this is the new screw. So it's quite a bit fatter. So this is a number 14, and this is a 5/16 screw that I'm going to be reusing. It's kind of a bolt, and it's also stainless steel. So all the screws that I'm going to be reusing are going to be stainless steel. And also to cover up the old holes, I'm going to be using some Eternabond. This is 2-inch Eternabond tape. I'm going to be using this over the old holes, and I'm actually going to be putting a piece over the new holes, so it gives a barrier between the arm and the skin of the RV, so it doesn't, you know, just from moving and stuff like, doesn't scratch up the skin of the RV. And then I'm gonna put some sealant in the holes I'm gonna reuse, so that I have a nice, you know, seal around the screw so that water can't penetrate into the old holes or into the new holes. The old holes should be good because they're gonna have die-core sealant, and then they're gonna have a Eternabond over top of it, so we should be good to go. Okay, I'm gonna go up right now and take a look at my prep for putting the screws in. So I've got approximate location where the screws are gonna go. This is one of the old screws I'm gonna reuse. This was a screw hole that I'm covering up, that I sealed. And then we've got where a slot, basically one of the new screws can go anywhere in this slot. And the same thing with this screw here. We just got a piece, cleaned it really well, and then put a piece of Eternabond. And then again up top, we have more Eternabond covering up the holes. I might use this hole up here. I'm definitely using this one, and this one are 2 holes that are being reused. I'm gonna put those 5/16 bolts in. Because I'm mounting this by myself, what I did is I loaded the first screw so it came through the, you can see my screw is right in here. This is one of those new bolts. I loaded one screw in through my drill right there, and I lined it up so it was lining up with the rest of the holes. And now I'm going to go ahead and screw it in. But I'm just rechecking here to make sure that we're all lined up. I've taken the motor out right here, you can see, just to make it easier to, a little bit lighter to mount and hold. Made sure my wires are clear here, both at the top and there, and I'm going to throw down this one screw right here. Once I got that one in there, then I can go ahead and mount the rest. That's the hardest one to do. So the next thing I got to do is I got to do this bottom screw right here and make sure that lines up. Okay, here's the arm fully extended with the 2 screws they initially put in. You have to extend it so you have access to the holes for the other new holes. There's the first slot on the bottom that we're going to put a new screw in. Then there's one right above that. We're going to put another new screw in that slot. We're going to reuse the hole at the top and new screw at the very top. Okay, here are both the arms mounted. I finished putting in the remainder of the screws in the front arm and the holes that were the new holes. And then I went and did the same procedure to the rear arm. Now you can see all I have left to do here now is to put the motor in the forward arm right there, and then mount the canopy, which is not going to be easy, but I'll have to mount the canopy along the slot along the top, and then mount the canopy arm in both the front and rear arm holders. One thing I forgot to mention is to make sure you get a level on your arms and make sure that they are perfectly vertical. I was reusing holes from a previous installation, but I was just checking to make sure that both of my arms were vertical. Okay, I just want to show some of the electrical stuff here. So I had my cable coming out of the RV for the positive and negative for the motor for the actual awning arm. These are the wires that come out for the LED lights on the awning. Unfortunately, when the awning got ripped off the RV, those wires got torn out of the fabric, so I have to fix that separately. But for right now, what I've done is I've soldered the positive and negative here. I've got some shrink tubing on here. I have this portable soldering iron that just connects to a lithium battery here. This is just an RC battery. It's a nice portable unit because you don't have to be connected anywhere, and it's all digital, and you can dial in digitally exactly the temperature you want, and I just use some electrical solder. I prefer that than these crappy little pinch connector things. This would be much more reliable. So I'm going to slide my shrink tubing over now. And I'm going to heat that up. Let's see, slide that over there. Okay, now I've got the awning itself mounted and slid on the top rail. And I've got the awning bar mounted. And how I did this is I slid the entire awning off of the pole. So all I had is just the material. And then I got up on a ladder on this end, and my wife helped me feed the line. It was too hard to do with the pole attached, so we just fed it along this line, and she just helped me feed it. It wasn't that heavy because the pole wasn't attached. Once we had the awning lined up on the rail up there, and it was just hanging down on the side, it was very easy just to slide the pole down on the awning over the bead. So you can see right here that this is the bead right here, right? So it just slides up and down this line right here. So actually it still slides because there's a screw that sets it in place, but I want to have it mounted and attach to the arms before I do anything like that. I had to strap this one down because I had to kind of pull the awning material over that arm, which was a little hard to get over that very top piece. It was a little hard to get over the very top mounting piece where the motor attaches, but it wasn't really that hard. Okay, now I've got the arms up, and I basically strapped it in with some zip ties on one end, and then I had my wife hand me the other end while I was standing on the ladder down here, and I just temporarily stuck it in that end. Now I'm going to go up to the top here to show you where we put the clips in. Okay, so here I'm on top of the awning here. Got that end in. You can see that there's a slant, right? So that's the nice thing about this awning. You can create like a little slant down to this end. And you can see in here, I've got to put this clip. So this is the clip right here that goes in the idle arm end. And then I got this other one that goes in the motor end. See that little, where the clip's going to go onto. So you can see where that metal piece right there. This looks like it can go either way. Doesn't look like there's a direction to it. Okay, so I'm just going to take that, put that in there. Let's see here. Oh, I see. That's just an inserter. So you actually use that to insert in place. Okay, so the cap just goes over top of this. It goes in there like this. That goes in there like that. The little cap pops on here like that, and that one's locked in. Oh. And we will go to the next one. Okay, you can see we're at the motor end, and I see I don't have it on all the way, so I'm gonna have to tap this. Let's see if I'm a little too close to be tapping this. You can actually see where the clip is, and it looks like it's lined up perfectly. Let's go over top and see if you can see. You can't see in there, but you can see that I'm in all the way. You can actually see where that clip is going to go down over top. So I'm just going to take this and tap it. See, now you see the C clip is where it's supposed to be. That's not going anywhere. You can actually just take that off because now I got to put this cover back on. But before I put the cover back on, I'm going to put the motor on. I'm going to come back and put the motor on, and then show it going open and closed. Okay, here is the awning fully attached and opening. One thing I did forget to film was the reattaching of the motor. Just 3 screws that attach the motor on and off of the forward arm, but it's actually pretty easy to do. And then there's 2 plastic housing pieces that go on over top of that. But you can see here it is opening, and I've got the motor all attached and the exterior light, LED light attached, and it worked great. It took a little bit of adjusting after we had the canopy attached. We probably opened and closed it 5 or 6 times, making sure that it wasn't doing any weird crinkling, or making sure that the canopy arm was lined up with where the canopy was attached to the side of the RV. But after 5 or 6 times opening and closing, it worked great. So you can see here it is closing. And we're really happy with how it turned out. When the arms come in, it fully squeezes right against the RV nice and tight, so I don't have to worry about anything happening while we're driving, and it all works great. You can see I have a little piece of a Turnabon there at the bottom that I have to trim off, both that side and the back side, but we're very happy how it turned out, and it's ready to provide shade. Well, I hope you enjoyed RV Awning versus Tree Part 2, the repair. If you didn't see it, come back and see RV Awning Part 1, where I explain how I ripped this awning off the side of my RV. Thanks again for watching. Downsizing makes sense. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And also like the video. Please leave a comment if you have anything to say about the repair or how I ripped this off the RV. Would love to hear what you've got to say. Again, thank you from Downsizing Makes Sense.